What's going on, everybody? We're gonna get started in just a moment. I know we're gonna have a lot of different fans in here, and I hope everybody can hope everybody shared the show out for me. I'm gonna be doing the same thing in just a moment as we are getting ready to get started, and we're gonna be talking. We're gonna pretty much quickly review the season, a bit about the Titans and some of the stats and some of the great moments, stats from the season and just some of the things that we enjoyed. I'm not going to give out like my awards yet until after the season is over. Once the season like officially ends, hopefully sometime in February, with the Titans hosting a Lombardi Trophy, that's when I'll give out my awards, my season awards, and things like that. So that's when we'll come to that instance. But we'll talk about that. We'll see how my predictions did against what the record actually is, and then final rankings. And then we're going to talk playoffs. Since the Titans are off this week, we're going to look at some of the other games that are going to happen, and we're going to see which team with the Titans would you like to see the Titans face in the divisional round, and which team you're not looking to see in the divisional round. So we're going to get ready to get that started. And again, I'm going to share the show out. Make sure y'all do the same thing. And we are going to get this show started in 60 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody? Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome in to TNT tonight, live from the Truth Studios, aka my man cave. Hopefully, everybody is doing well on this evening. Welcome in, and we're going to be having a great show as we're not only going to kind of review the Titans season, but we're also going to be talking the playoffs. The Titans have a week off, but we're going to be enjoying some NFL football anyway. So, again, make sure y'all share this show out to everybody. Make sure y'all share this show out to everybody that's watching or any of your friends, whether they be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and definitely make sure that they know I'm at 1,100 subscribers, trying to get to 1,200. I'm trying to build to 1,500. So please do spread the show out to everybody. Let them know this is the place to be. And as we talk playoffs and talk what the Titans have to do in a divisional round. So make sure y'all share the show out. And then at the end, I got some love to show in the state of Tennessee. I got a lot of love to show in regards to things that are going on right here in the state of Tennessee. So again, as you can see on the bottom, make sure y'all follow on Facebook, the Titans of Truth main page, also TNT Enforcers page, on Instagram at Titans_N_Truth, on Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer. I also definitely appreciate any super chats that you are able to give. I would definitely appreciate that very much. And so I'm tagging in some people right now. If you can, definitely tag this out and show some love. Let everybody else know where they can come on in. And as we get ready to talk some football right here on TNT tonight. So, just throwing it out to a few people or whatever. And I know a lot of people got my tag earlier. I see God, Guns, and Glory, tighten up. What's going on? Kent Woods, as usual. Doesn't matter who we play. You have to beat the best of the best to get to the Super Bowl. All we need is just take it game by game, and that's true. And we are 2 wins away. D09, what's up? Josh, what's up? Herm, what's going on with your good sir? How's everybody doing? But this is an exciting time. It is an exciting time to be a Tennessee Titans fan. It's an exciting time to enjoy football. And it is absolutely glorious. I love it. And I know a lot of y'all love it too. And we are going to have some fun. And y'all forgive me. Again, I'm sharing some stuff out to people. I'm trying to, gravitate some people over to enjoy this great show. And again, invite people that are not Titan fans too, because I'm going to be talking some of the other games that are going to be happening. So, I'm going to be talking some other teams and stuff like that. I know there are going to be some other fans of other teams that may be watching this show as well. So, definitely let them know also so that they can come on over and enjoy some real deal content that, I'm going to be spreading to the world, because that's just what I do. But let's talk about the fact that Tennessee Titans are indeed the number 1 seed in the AFC. It's, they get the week off, they get to chill, but they did get some work in, I believe, yesterday and today. I know they definitely got some work in today. Derrick Henry, they had a little light practice today, not really a huge practice today, but Derrick Henry did get some work. I know a lot of guys were not a part of practice. I believe A.J. Brown was a part of practice. I believe Julio was not. Elijah Molden was not. Christian Fulton did practice a little bit. So it was just a light walkthrough. They weren't even in jerseys. They were basically in, football pants and sweats mostly, and shirts basically. So it wasn't really a big time practice. It was a walkthrough of sorts. So that's basically what that was. And, and that's fine. That's fine. They deserve to take some time off. Vrabel has basically said they're going to get a few days off. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they will get those 3 days off. And then they'll be coming back in, getting ready for the divisional round, which I would say most likely by the end of Saturday night, we will have pretty much most likely who we're going to face, unless that miracle is pulled off by Big Ben in Pittsburgh. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty much going to be decided on Saturday. Whether it's the Bengals, the Raiders, or the Patriots, and we'll talk about that more in just a bit. So again, I'm glad everybody's in. Let's end on this note, and that is, we go back and take a look at some of the statistics. And also, by the way, if you want some TNT swag, hit me up. You can hit me up on any of the pages on the ticker, or hit up my email. You can also hit up Miss Latoya Akinyemi for shirts, whether it be the navy blue or the light blue shirts. Also at queenbutterflytees@gmail.com, or at queenbutterflytees on Instagram. For the hats, like the red one that you see on the screen, or this blue one that I have on right now, you can hit up my guy at Out the Crib Customs. That's at out_the_crib_customs, and can definitely hook you up with one of these bad boys right there. So if we take a look at how the season ended as far as rankings, let's take a look on the offensive side right here. So I'm going to take the ticker down for just a moment. And as you can see, the Titans finished 15th scoring offense at right under 25 points a game, 17th in total offense, right about 342 and a half yards a game. Fifth in rushing. Now, it took a little dip after last week, but not too bad. And, and that's okay. But it wasn't terrible. I mean, a lot of people thought that, everything was just going to completely drop off after Derrick Henry went out, and everything stayed the same. And so, um, I think the fact that we kept our running game going as strong as we did, I like it. Passing wasn't great, 201 yards a game for 24th, and they allowed 47 sacks. Definitely not the greatest number in the world. I would rather that number have been down a little bit lower, but it is. I don't think it's the worst at all when it comes to that. On the other side of the ball, defensively, I think it's where I think a lot of us saw a lot of major improvement, and that is that they finished sixth best scoring defense. Sixth. Wasn't expecting that one at all, and they stepped up in a major way, and I'm proud of this defense. I'm proud of this defense. I'm proud of how they got better. They fought. They, got the pass rush was so much better than it could have ever have been. And they weren't going to give up a lot of points. They were very, very stingy defensively. Total yards, they're 12th. So they're, like I had predicted, as long as they're in the middle of the road between 12 and about 18, they finished 12. Number 2 against the run, and they missed being the number 1 rush defense by a 10th of a yard. Ravens were at 84.5. Titans were at 84.6. A 10th of a yard. Man, that's something. So I know the way they're going to be fired up on the fact that they did not get that number 1 rush defense ranking. And then they were 25th against the pass. And I think a lot of that, of course, Davis Mills had to come back from behind, kind of garbage time, but still, I think the pass rush definitely helped a lot. But whenever there were times that there wasn't a pass rush, that's kind of where we might have got picked on a little bit. Titans finished, more than double the sacks they had last year. Last year, they finished with 19 sacks. They more than doubled that. They finished with, I want to say, I'm trying to get my numbers right, 26 more sacks than they did last year at 43. They improved by 26 sacks. Harold Landry had 12 of them. Danico Autry had 9. Simmons had 8.5. I believe Bud Dupree had 3 and he missed some time. Let me see if I can get that right. Yeah. Landry with 12. Simmons 8.5. Naquan Jones with 2.5. Ola with 2.5. Bud Dupree had 3. One for the injury, probably would have had more than that with that. And then Kyle Petco came in with a couple of sacks. So very much a much improved defense as far as sacks. Now, the turnover differential was -3. Would have liked that to have been on the plus side. But given the fact that at one time the Titans were like at -7, it's still pretty good. And Tannehill in the last 3 games, I will say this: 7 touchdowns, no interceptions in the last 3 games. I'll give it that. Steve Crosio, what's up, y'all? What's up, everybody? Will Henry, what's going on? Kent Wood says, in 2 weeks, Henry will step on that field in 2 weeks. Stadium is going to erupt, and if he breaks a big run, stadium will be shaken. Like I've said this to quite a few people, including Kent. I can't wait to get there in a couple of weeks. I can't wait for that game. I can't wait because it is going to be sick. It is going to be sick live as far as I'm concerned. It is going to go absolutely bonkers. Bonkers in that stadium. And I mean, it's already going to be hype because you're hearing about people trying to get tickets. Some people have reached out to me. I'm going to try to help some people, try to see if I can get a ticket or two. But I will tell y'all, it is a pretty expensive ticket. Not going to lie to you. It's a pretty hot ticket right now. Hot and I mean expensive. But I mean, and I don't understand why it seems that playoff tickets are much higher now than the regular season tickets. I don't really understand the reasoning behind that at all. I really don't understand. But I know they're like, hey, you got to make their money. I understand. You got to try to make your money. So I don't like it, but I'm gonna still try to work with some people, see if I can get some tickets at a fair, decent price. They're gonna be probably close to $100 or more, depending on where you are. Up at the top, I know they're like close to 100, even at the top. And in lower bowl, you're looking at a couple of hundred. Like there are tickets at the top probably going for like 200, and tickets at the bottom. Like honestly, I could resell my ticket right now for like $1,000. I could probably sell my ticket for like $400 or $500 right now if I wanted to, but I want to be there. Now, AFC Championship, if we get there, I might be somewhere else out of town, so I might sell that ticket. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look, I understand people are like don't have the money and all of that, but sometimes I'm trying to make a profit too. You know what I'm saying? It happens. So I know some people have gotten divisional tickets, and congrats to you if you're able to with that. So it's gonna be fun. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get there. It's gonna be crazy. God honors the glory. Said the pass that Tannehill made was amazing when he pulled that play off. Yeah, getting out of that sack, I definitely agree. Titan Pratt, thank you for sharing the show out. Reggie B, what's up, my guy down in H-Town? Tighten up and smash that like button. Please, y'all, smash that like button for me. I want to try to get 70 likes on tonight's show. Definitely help me out with that. Let's see. Keisha says, I was able to get some divisional tickets. I'll be in the club section. I just have to give me an AFC Championship ticket. Yeah, I know I'm on the pay as you play list, so I know the AFC Championship ticket gonna be like $200 and some going forward. So I know that's gonna be pretty big, and hey, I'm down for it. If I'm not gonna be able to be, I'm supposed to be going to St. Louis for the Royal Rumble, WWE Royal Rumble. If I somehow can't get to that, I will be at that AFC Championship. Paulie D, what's up? Mark, what's up? So I'm hanging out with y'all tonight. Defense, run game, belief. I agree. And that stuff, that's main things that you have to have to win a championship. That much is true. So, some stats. Again, Titans improving as a top 10 scoring defense, top 12 as a total defense, top 2 against the run. That is some things that's going to carry you a very, very long way. And I mean, Tannehill finishing with 3,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 picks. And the great thing about it was a few weeks back, Tannehill led the league in interceptions. He did not finish leading the league in interceptions. I believe that distinguished stat, if I'm not mistaken, let me see who that goes to. Give me 1 second. I can confirm who that illustrious stat will go to in just a minute. As far as interceptions, I believe that is, I know Justin Herbert was up there. Joe Burrow was up there. Let's see. Matt Stafford. That's who led the league in interceptions. Matt Stafford and Trevor Lawrence with 17 each. Josh Allen, and look at some quarterbacks we might be facing. Josh Allen, 15 picks. Derek Carr, 14 picks. Burrow, 14 picks. Mahomes, 13 picks. Mac Jones, 13 picks. So Ben Roethlisberger, 10. I want to say a starting quarterback that's thrown the least amount of picks, and I'm looking at particularly starting quarterbacks that are in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers only throwing 4. Aaron Rodgers, no surprise there, only threw 4. Hurts, and then the next one is Hurts at 9. And those are like playoff quarterbacks. So, I mean, we could be going up against some guys that can make some mistakes, and we'll definitely work, definitely try to take advantage of that, and that's something that we have to do. But this season was terrific, and it was terrific. There was a lot of things we had to do coming into this year, and I think Vrabel should definitely be Coach of the Year, hands down. Ryan Tannehill got Comeback Player of the Year, I think 1 year. And, I mean, obviously, Alex Smith definitely deserved it before as well. I mean, doing what he had to do coming back from injury. And, let me see. Mark Jones says, Tannehill is underrated. He's a winner, come through in the clutch when we need a play. 13 game-winning drives. That is true. Amazing turnaround defensively from last year. Props to Vrabel, Bowen, and Schwartz. And also, I forgot to mention this, and I couldn't find this stat. Third down defense was incredibly better. We got to remember that. Third down defense was incredibly better. So we also have to take that into account as well. I mean, third down defense is huge. I don't even remember the percentage. I believe it was under 40%, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. And yes, Jackie McLaren, how you doing, sweetie? Says Tannehill Offensive Player of the Week. He did get AFC Offensive Player of the Week. So definitely shout out to Tannehill on that. But what I want to show y'all is this. This was my prediction on the season. This was what I predicted was going to happen. I had us finishing 13-4. And as you can see, there are some games that I had us winning that we lost. I had some games that we were supposed to lose that we won. And there were a few games I'm like, you know what, I'm going with this. And I actually got it right. Like the last 3 games, got it right. The Rams, got it right. Buffalo, got it right. I said 13-4. They finished 12-5. And, and they finished, I believe, against current playoff teams, they're 4-3. But the main thing was they beat Buffalo, Kansas City, Indy twice, the Rams in that stretch. And then come back, and I'll just say even especially playoff teams, Buffalo, Kansas City, the Rams, San Francisco, those teams, should have beaten New England, had a shot at beating New England, had a shot at beating Pittsburgh if it wasn't for turnovers. So those are some keys. So I was off by a game. I thought I was going to be close. I was off by a game. And, I never claimed to be perfect. I never claim to be perfect when it comes to predictions because I stink at it sometimes. I mean, look at some of my bets that I have made in the past. And if the Chargers had not taken a timeout and let them run a play and they kick a field goal, I probably win my bet, and the Chargers are in the playoffs too. So, that's pretty much how I feel when it comes to my predictions. They don't always work. And so, you know what? This has been an incredible season. Saw some great moments. And again, when the season is over, I'm definitely going to give y'all my top 3 games that I enjoyed the most, and that's going to be very, very hard to predict. And, we'll definitely go who is the team MVP, who is the best, who is offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, most improved, who could be a breakout player of the year next season, and things like that. And I mean, the way the Titans accomplished things this year, given the fact that not only did they lose Derrick Henry, they lose Derrick Henry midway through the season. They play 91 players because of all the injuries, COVID, everything that went on there. And we battled through it. Julio was out for some time. AJ was out for some time. And yet we still found a way to be 12-5. Most teams in this situation probably would have finished either 7-10, 8-9, or 9-8, or something like that. Or maybe at best case scenario, 10-7 in that situation. And the fact that the Titans still finished 12-5 despite all of that, kudos to Mike Vrabel. And kudos to Shane Bowen and to a lesser extent Todd Downing, because I still have my doubts, but I'm going to give him some love. And so, Paulie D says, True, you were just off by 1. Who would have thought first in the conference and first round bye? Agreed. And obviously, some of the national media not really happy with us being the number 1 seed. People are still picking Kansas City. I'm like this. I'll take my chances with any team inside the walls of Nissan Stadium. I think we could beat anybody. Jacqueline says, Vrabel should be coach of the year, hands down. Agreed. Mark says Julio will be close to prime Julio in the playoffs. Even when he's covered, you see NWI and Ferg running open. His impact is felt. Yeah, we saw this in the last game. And teams are going to be like, dang, got to line up against AJ, Julio, Derek, Deontay. I mean, it's going to be pick your poison. Who you going to stop? They're not going to be able to crowd the box and stop Derrick Henry. If you do that, you're asking for trouble. Now, if you back off, you're asking for trouble too. So we're going to have fun with that next week, breaking down the game, whoever the opponent is that we're going to be facing off with. So I definitely will. I'm definitely going to enjoy talking the playoff game when that comes along. But let's talk coaching carousel, because as y'all know, Monday, the Monday after the season's over, is Black Monday. And this kind of leads into pick my brain a little bit. So I'm going to, kind of switch things up a little bit. And we'll talk, I forgot to go into, star and dunce of the week. We'll get to that. And stock up and stock down. Matter of fact, scratch that. We're going to do that now. I'm sorry, y'all. I get off kilter sometimes. Hey, live show, y'all. It happens. So, stock up, stock down. Who do you feel stock was up after the Texan game? Whose stock was down after the Texan game? I'm going to venture to say stock up. I'm going to say definitely Anthony Firkser. I think Firkser definitely gets a stock up because, last couple of games, he's been pretty good. He's been pretty good the last couple of games. Caught a touchdown pass against Miami. Had some big catches in the game against Houston, and had the big touchdown as well. So I'm definitely going to stock up Anthony Firkser. Another stock up, I'm going to say, is Julio freaking Jones. And, Julio looked like Julio, we all know and love. And, had 5 catches, 58 yards, a touchdown. I was very much impressed with what Julio Jones did. And I'm like this. You see what happens when you throw Julio the freaking ball? Good things happen when you throw Julio the ball. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Just throw the man the ball. And then last but not least, Dontrell Hilliard. Because Dontrell Hilliard had a couple of big plays and had the big play in the fourth quarter to get the first down that pretty much sealed the game. Where he ran and then he stretched across the line of scrimmage. The first down marker, got the first down. So I was very much impressed with Dontrell Hilliard. And I really do like this 3-headed monster we could have. You got the power, speed. You got the beast. You got the monster. You got the beast. You got the mini beast. And then you have the speed demon. 3D is what I like to call them. The 3D. Derek, Deontay, Dontrell. The 3D. And if anybody watched wrestling, that was one of the most devastating finishing maneuvers, tag team finishing maneuvers. That 3D from the Dudley Boys. And that's what it is. The 3D. And Josh, you talking about the Grizz. I got that. I'm already on it. So I see a lot of people saying Firkser and Julio agreeing with me. Firkser and Julio from Mark Jones. Firkser, Julio, and Hilliard from Paulie D. So a lot of y'all are thinking the same thing I am. Crosdale says Tannehill. Stock up. And I'll give Tannehill some credit too. Had a very good game. He had to carry the team. And he did a good job with it. Drumstar saying the same thing. Ian says, what up, Chris? This week is dragging without a game, not until 2 weeks. Not for 2 weeks. Yeah, it does feel like it's going kind of slow. Jacqueline says NWI. And NWI is a very interesting pick because NWI, he just does what you ask him to do. He just says, go in there, run your route, go in there, block, run your route, catch the ball when it's thrown to you. And he tends to do that. He had 4 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown. So, yeah, I definitely have to give NWI a little bit well. Diego says our weakness this playoff could be the O-line and protection to Tannehill. We only gave up 1 sack, I believe, in the game against Houston, I want to say. And O-line is going to have to protect because we are going to be going up against some decent defensive fronts later. So, King Henry and Foreman a loaded backfield. I know that's right. So, definitely enjoying NWI. Very, very good. Let's see. Dang. So now let's go to stock down in this game. And I'm going to go a little bit different of a direction when it comes to stock down. I'm going to say the team as a whole in the second half, stock down, because you're up 21-0. You have the game in hand and you let up. You let your foot off the gas. You took your hand off the throat when you're choking them. And I said this on the post game. It's like a wrestler or an MMA. If you got somebody in a chokehold, you hold on to them until they pass out or tap out. You do not let up. You do not let go. And in the second half, I believe on both sides of the ball, we let up. especially on the defensive side of the ball, which was very disappointing to me on that. Early on in the game, offense was, after the first couple of 3-and-outs, offense was clicking on all cylinders. Defense was playing lights out early. But then they go into the locker room and they forget there's a second half you still got to play. It's like a lot of these guys are like, well, we got this one locked up. Number 1 seed is already locked up. Vrabel was probably talking about, hey, you know what? Get through to the fourth quarter, keep this lead. I'm probably going to start pulling some guys. Obviously, Houston didn't get that memo, and they kept fighting and did their thing. So Paulie D says, jackass, as in Janor is falling for that flea flicker fake. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Flea flicker. Fell for it. I like this interesting spot. 22 years since the last time we were at the Super Bowl. You got 22. 2 Julio times 11, AJ equals 22. Derek. Very interesting stat. Josh says stock down pass rush. Stock down fat Randy. And yeah, Randy Bullock did miss some kicks in the game. That does have me a tad bit concerned with Randy missing kicks, missing a kick or two in the game, which made no sense. Kentwood says stock down defense. Jameson, glad you're in here. I know you say you're a little bit behind, but glad you're in here. Paulie D said, yep, we let him out of the rear naked choke. Sure did. Jameson says second half was garbage. Mark says Texans know us better than most teams. Division rivals, they always give us a tough game. And I mean, yes, division rivals do give tougher games, but that's still no excuse. There's still no excuse to let up in the second half. Mr. Laredo would say it best, tighten up, but don't lighten up. And we did lighten up. So I didn't like it. Josh says, in between, Todd Downing. Terrible play call in the second half, especially the bomb to Julio. But excellent play call to ice the game. Now, I kind of get what you're saying on that. If it was 2nd and 2, I probably would have threw the bomb to Julio. You know, because you take that shot because you know what, you got 3rd and 2 if you don't get it. I mean, obviously, I think if Tannehill took a little off of that, Julio probably comes in, gets it right before the safety gets there and things like that. And maybe Julio outruns it. So, I mean, I'm not mad at the play call. I'm mad at the situation. I would have rather it been 2nd and 2 instead of 3rd and 2 when you call that. On 3rd and 2, just get the first down. Just get the first down. You take shots if it's 2nd and short. You take shots on 1st down or if it's 2nd and short. That's where you take some shots, to me. So, to me, second half team as a whole went down. Pass rush was non-existent. Very disappointed in that in the second half. They should have had more sacks. They kept breaking contain, letting Davis Mills get outside and extend plays. I'm like, you keep a guy like that in the pocket so the pocket can collapse around him and you can get to him. That's what you should have done. And yeah, and so, I mean, it was disappointing with that. So now that I've done that, we're kind of going to go into a little bit of a pick my brain because we're going to talk about the coaching carousel. Let's go to the NFL. Titans have the first round bye. And when I talk playoffs, this will have something to do with the Tennessee Titans. I guarantee you that because it's going to be important. But let's get into, star and dunce of the day. I'm going to easily go ahead and pick it. Tannehill was the star of the week with 287 yards, 4 TDs. Dunce of the day, I kind of got to go with Janoris Jenkins. and whoever was covering Danny Amendola. Because Danny Amendola was doing work on us. He was doing work on us in that second half. Finished with like 7 catches, 130 yards. Davis Mills had like 240 yards in the second half alone. Don't know how that happened. So that's my star and dunce of the week. I'm going to go ahead and give that. But let's go into Pick My Brain and let's talk some NFL coaches. All right. And so we're finna get to Pick My Brain because I have a question for all of y'all. Big Ken Moore, what's up, homie? Welcome in. Welcome in. Definitely. Welcome in. And let's see. Josh says, yeah, no excuse. You know, Kansas City struggled against Denver. Buffalo had a close game with the Jets. Arizona lost to Seattle. True. But still no excuse. Josh says Taylor Warren is a dunce. Yeah, he almost gave up that sack. It was a tale of two halves. I agree. Molden on Amendola. I mean, you know, Molden kind of took it in, had a little bit of a nick up and went out. I don't know if he went back in. He probably did. Diego said Janoris played okay. I put it on Bowen for the second half. Again, I think the whole team in the second half sucked, honestly. Definitely sucked. And so let's get into the coaching bid because, again, this past Monday, the Monday after the season is over, was also known as Black Monday. And look at these jobs that are available. These are the 7 head coaching jobs that are now available. And I also put in some stuff where GM is also available as well. So you're looking at Jacksonville, Miami, Jacksonville, the New York Giants, who fired Joe Judge just yesterday, and Dave Gettleman, their general manager, retired, which I think he was going to get fired anyway. He just tried to kind of get ahead of it and decided to retire. Chicago, Matt Nagy got fired. Ryan Pace got fired as general manager. Mike Zimmer got fired as a head coach, and Rick Spielman fired as general manager. Vic Fangio got fired on Sunday after Denver lost to Kansas City. The Raiders, they have a coach at the moment. Right now, I mean, they're in the playoffs, but they fired Mike Tomlin. They fired Mike Tomlin earlier. I mean, not Mike Tomlin, I'm sorry. John Gruden earlier in the season, and Rich Bisaccia has taken over and has gotten his team to the playoffs. So he could be a guy that could stick as head coach of the Raiders. I mean, he's gotten them to the playoffs. He does at least deserve a look. And then, of course, the surprise of it all, the Miami Dolphins firing Brian Flores. I was very shocked that Brian Flores got fired. I thought he deserved another season. I mean, you go 10-6 last year, just missed the playoffs by a game. Then you were 1-7. You win 7 in a row to at least be in contention to have an opportunity to make the playoffs when all seemed dead. And then you fire him at the end. I thought Brian Flores got done dirty by the Miami Dolphins. Some of the other firings, I'm like, pretty self-explanatory. Now, Joe Judge, I thought I can understand them firing him, but I'm like, waiting a day after it looked like he was going to be safe, and then you fire him later. I thought that was kind of messed up too. So I guess they figured, well, the GM retired, might as well go ahead and fire the coach and go in a whole different direction. So these are the opening jobs. Josh says Brian Flores. Slight mic malfunction. I don't know how is it that this keeps happening. I'm probably gonna have to do something about that going into next season. But I mean, Brian Flores getting fired, I think he is a good option as far as a head coach. I know Denver's talking to him right now, so that could be a potential interest. And you know, Josh saying Doug Peterson as well. There's some good names out there. So here's my question to all of you. Out of these head coaching jobs, which one is the best possible coaching spot? What would be the best job for a new head coach? And I'm going to go ahead and put these up again. Jags, Raiders, Giants, Miami, Chicago, Minnesota, Denver. Which one is the best possible coaching spot? Which one will be the hottest job? And let's talk a little bit about each job. You know, Jacqueline said, I was shocked they parted ways before it. Me too. I agree. Josh says, I would want the Vikings or the Vegas job, but there may be a chance Bisaccia stays. True. But there's also rumor, Titan Anderson, what's up, man? Welcome in. Definitely got to get with you. I'm going to get with you this week. I'm going to get with you and probably some other guys. I think I might try to see if I can get an Avengers Assemble together for next week as we talk about the wild card. A lot of people are definitely saying that Brian Flores didn't deserve to be fired. It was definitely out of left field. Urban Meyer couldn't even last the full season. Josh says Jim Caldwell could be a good option for the Jags, but they don't do smart things. Josh says Joe Judge is an idiot. Wow. Let's see. Nope, didn't lose me. My mic kind of went crazy, but I'm back. So, which one is the best job out there? And I see Josh saying Vikings. I see Diego saying Jags. Let's see. Ken Moore says the Bears. They've already interviewed Flores. I know Denver's talking to him as well. Crosio says Miami. Jacqueline says Jags with Trevor Lawrence, which is very interesting. Walker comes in with the Raiders. Drumstar says rumor is Jim Harbaugh going to Vegas. Let's see. Could see the Jags and Bears being attractive. Fields and Lawrence. Yeah. And I was talking to a Bears fan earlier about that. Dolphins still have a lot of draft picks. I can see that. Let's see. DO9 says Broncos. Laurel says Broncos. You need a quarterback. Jameson says Raiders. I see a lot of different answers here. Byron Leftwich, I could see him interviewing for the Jags job too. I could definitely see that. Vikings, Jefferson, Cook, decent defense. Rodgers could leave the division from Phillip. And Burning Devil says Bears. Let's break down each of these jobs a little bit and go with that. And we're going to start with Jacksonville. Jacksonville fires Urban Meyer. Just drafted Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. So let me come out of this. Just drafted Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. And you got Travis Etienne, you got James Robinson, you got DJ Chark, who's a decent receiver, and you got the number one pick. You got the number 1 pick in the draft coming as well. So, I mean, I could definitely see where the Jags, with the right people, they probably are looking at trading out of that number 1 pick, unless the number 1 pick is a defensive player like an Aiden Hutchinson or the kid out of Oregon could be a top pick for them. I definitely could see the Jags going defense. I know K'Lavon Chaisson has been a little bit of a disappointment, so they could look for somebody to go opposite Josh Allen. I would hate if the Jags got Aiden Hutchinson, because that dude reminds me of a Max Crosby or Kyle Van Bosch. No quit, all motor as a defender. I could see Aiden Hutchinson going number 1. So I think the Jags are an interesting job. Ms. Mims, I see you back from Bible study. Welcome in. I can see the Jags being an interesting job, definitely. So, I mean, I'm not against the Jags. Next up, I'm going to say, next up, I will go with the Giants. And the hottest job I think out there, I mean, I could go a bunch of different ways. I'll just break it down each one. The Giants. Now, you got to look for a head coach and a general manager. They got to be able to get along. And they have got to fix their defense. Their defense is pitiful, not very good. You got Daniel Jones coming back. You got him on a rookie deal. You got Saquon Barkley. If he can stay healthy, could be a really good running back. They really need help everywhere. There's a lot of holes with the Giants. Offensive line, defense. They could probably use another weapon at wide receiver to go along with Kadarius Toney and Shepard. And Evan Ingram, I don't know if they're going to hold on to him. That's another good question. So are they sure on Daniel Jones? They might be like, you know what? We might go in a different direction than Daniel Jones. I could see that happening. I mean, he was drafted in 2018, so you got about 3 years out of him. So you kind of have a small sample size of what Daniel Jones is. So I could see the Giants trying to go for a splash. And I mean, it's in a pretty big market. The Raiders. Now, the Raiders, if they don't keep Bisaccia, they're looking for a rock star. They're looking for a big name. They're going splash all the way. I mean, let's think about it. They're in Vegas. They're gonna have the Pro Bowl there this year. I want to say, yeah, Pro Bowl is in Vegas. The draft is in Vegas. Next year's Super Bowl is in Vegas. I mean, Vegas has a lot coming up. So obviously, they want a sexy name. Jim Harbaugh was one. There's even a crazy rumor they may look at trading for a coach like a Mike Tomlin or Sean Payton as a potential coach. So the Raiders, they want sexy. They want a splash. They thought they did that with John Gruden. Didn't exactly go well. They're still paying them what? Another 6 years worth of money. So I don't know if going splash is extremely smart for the Raiders. But that's exactly what I think they want to do. The next job I'm going to talk about, and I mean, with the Raiders, you got Derek Carr. You know, are you ready to stick with him? Josh Jacobs, a very nice running back. Darren Waller. They're probably going to have to go get a receiver because, I mean, the guy they had a receiver is in jail, probably for a very long time, in Henry Ruggs. You got a decent defense, definitely with Max Crosby, that monster in the front. So the Raiders could be a very hot spot. And you're in Vegas, the city that never sleeps, Sin City. Now we go to Chicago. Chicago is another interesting destination. They need help on defense. Khalil Mack out for the year. He'll be coming back. Now, I don't know if they're going to keep him or not, but they shut him down. But they're looking for a coach and a general manager as well. So they need somebody who can really come in there and settle Justin Fields down and develop him into the quarterback he needs to be. They need help on the offensive line. I'm not really sure about the running game. I believe Jordan Howard. I don't pretend to be an expert on some of these other teams, so forgive me. They can use some help on the offensive line. They could definitely use some help defensively. And I think with a receiver, they need some firepower. And so they're looking for a coach and a GM as well. I think they need to revitalize the Bears because that is a proud franchise in Chicago. Then you go to Miami, which was the surprise of all of this. Again, Brian Flores should have been fired. But the GM still being there, that means, he's probably going to pick a yes guy. I don't know if I'm going to like the way Miami goes with their coaching search. They got to see if Tua is their guy. They got Phillip Lindsay, who is a nice running back. You got Jalen Waddle. Are they going to keep Devontae Parker? Mike Gesicki might be gone, which the Titans should jump on Mike Gesicki if they have an opportunity. They have a decent team. So I don't know why they fired Brian Flores. So Miami could be a hot ticket, depends if they get along with the general manager. That's going to be the key to all of that. And I think Miami's going to take a step back because of this decision. Then you got Minnesota. Minnesota needs a coach and a general manager as well. Minnesota has a solid defense. They also got some guys on offense. Adam Thielen, I know he's been dealing with injuries. Justin Jefferson is a heck of a target. Dalvin Cook is a good running back. Kirk Cousins, not a terrible quarterback, but I can see somebody drafting his successor eventually. I believe he's on the last year of his deal, about $30 million. But I think they also need a little bit more help on offensive line. They had Christian Darrisaw, but he was in and out due to injury. If they don't do something with Garrett Bradbury, I wouldn't mind picking him up as a successor to Ben Jones, maybe in a trade. But I think Ben Jones is solid still. But I mean, I could definitely see Minnesota stacking up again on defense, on the offensive line, and maybe a successor at quarterback. But I think they could go with an offensive-minded coach on that side of the, making sure that Kirk Cousins doesn't blow it for him. So I could definitely see that. The job that I think is probably going to be the most difficult to fill, besides Jacksonville, well, Trevor Lawrence will help. Most difficult job to fill is going to be Denver, in my opinion. Denver's going to be the most difficult job to fill because there's a lot going on it that you need to figure out. Teddy Bridgewater, are you okay with him at quarterback? Or are you okay with Drew Lock? They need to revitalize their running game. The defense needs to be rebuilt. Von Miller is gone. You got Bradley Chubb, but that's about it. Justin Simmons, a fine safety. They started off 3-0 early, and then they completely fell off. And you got to have a way to compete with Kansas City, with Vegas, and with the Chargers as well. You got to be able to find a guy that can compete with those teams. You got to build a team that can compete with those. Because if you don't, you're going to be bottom dwellers. So I think Denver will be the most difficult job to fill. I'm going to say Out of all these jobs, I am going to say I think the Raiders and the Bears are probably going to be the two hottest jobs, I think, to fill. And I'll say Jacksonville, I would say third because they have a quarterback. Chicago has a quarterback, whether it be Justin Fields or Andy Dalton, which you want to go with Justin Fields. I think the Raiders, if they do get rid of Bisaccia, I think it's going to be the hottest job out there. I think it's the Raiders because you're taking over a playoff team. So I think that's going to be the hottest job. I think the Broncos will be the most difficult job. I will say I think Minnesota will be the most interesting job to fill. Hottest, again, Raiders, Bears to me. Interesting, Minnesota. Hardest to fill, or least interesting, Denver. Let me get to some of y'all comments, and then we're going to talk playoffs before we get out of here. I know I'm talking your heads off. Forgive me. I do like the fact that Eric Bieniemy is finally getting some looks. I know there's a lot of comments coming through. Let's see. You know, a lot of people saying Vikings. Yeah. Josh, also a GM. Giants did request to speak with Ryan Cowden and Monty Austinfort, our front office guys, for their GM position. Definitely did see that. Oiler Struck, what's up? Let's see. J Mac, my guy. Jimmy says, I hope Doug Peterson goes to the Raiders. Of course, he's an Eagles fan. You know, Doug Peterson did win a Super Bowl. So, I mean, I think Doug Peterson will be a name. Mark Jones saying best job is Broncos. Looking at Vikings as well. If Raiders' job does not come open, I would say that it is the Bears. That could be the most interesting job. Don't forget they also drafted ETN. Yeah, the Jags do have Travis Etienne. Injuries could be a problem for them. I'm not sure which team. Vikings have weapons. That's true. Philip says, I predict Flores goes to Jacksonville. And that is an interesting thought. I thought about that. Flores could stay in state and go to Jacksonville. As long as Jim Schwartz don't go anywhere, I believe he's done a lot to do with our defensive turnaround. I hope he doesn't go nowhere either. Let's see. Predict Payton leaves Saints for Giants, try to trade for Wilson or Rodgers. Giants trade like the seventh to get Sean Payton. That could be interesting. It's very rare that you see. It's very interesting that you see a trade for a head coach. It's very rare, but it does happen. Barkley, talk about Saquon Barkley is injury prone. Why Vegas has the most than others? Vegas does have a lot to offer. Al Pierce says Jason Garrett to the Vikings. Let's see. Bears have good talent if they had the right leadership. Phillips says Kellen Moore to Miami. Mark Jones says Nick Saban to Miami. Nick Saban ain't going nowhere. Bieniemy to the Vikings. Bieniemy will be a very interesting name. Bronco job is going to be the most difficult because the franchise right now, not stable. Agreed. Bill O'Brien to the Jags. I actually wouldn't mind that. Bill O'Brien, not that great of a coach. I wouldn't mind that. Todd Bowles to the Broncos. Giants is tough. They need a quarterback. Their safety Logan Ryan sucks. He did talk trash. Ownership in Denver is in a little bit of flux. So, that could be interesting. So, yeah, I agree. I think the Raiders' job is the hottest job if it becomes available. If not, I think the Bears' job is the hottest. And I think the most interesting is the Vikings' job. The most difficult to me is the Broncos, without a doubt. So, let's talk playoffs, y'all. As you can see, the playoffs are upon us. And here is the bracket for which the playoffs will be. Of course, the Titans have the week off. You got the Packers have the week off as well. This is the bracket the way it's set. Titans will face the lowest seed remaining. And the highest seed the two highest seeds remaining will face off in the divisional round. The Titans will get the lowest seed remaining. The Green Bay Packers will get the highest seed in the NFC, and then the top two highest seeds after Green Bay will face off in the divisional round. But here we go. I want to take a look at these games, and I'm going to make some predictions. First off, let's go to the Saturday games. On NBC, you got the early game being the Vegas Raiders at the Cincinnati Bengals on NBC. That's a very intriguing matchup because the Raiders are on an emotional high. They're fighting for their coach. They squeaked their way into the playoffs. After everything they've been through, in a new city, fired John Gruden, don't know if they're going to keep their coach, and they battle their way into the playoffs. Bengals with a high-powered offense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. They win the AFC North. They will play at 3:30 Central. Then you've got the New England Patriots going to the Buffalo Bills. Third time, a rematch between AFC East foes. The road team has won each of the meetings this season at 7:15 in a cold Buffalo. That's going to be interesting. Mac Jones in his first playoff game. The Bills are experienced in the playoffs. On CBS, that's going to be a very, very good game, in my opinion. And then on Sunday in the AFC, 7:15 primetime on NBC, Big Ben and the Steelers going to Kansas City again to face the Kansas City Chiefs. They got blown out the last time they went to Kansas City. And I think this will be, I'm going to go ahead and get this one out of the way. I think this will be Big Ben's last game, and I don't think it's going to go out in a very good manner because the Chiefs could be a killing machine, and I just don't think the Steelers have the horses to keep up. I think this will be Big Ben's last game. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's over for the Steelers. Kansas City will win. On the other side, in the NFC, all their games are on Sunday and Monday. Early game on Sunday, you got the Eagles going to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers. Congrats to the Eagles getting into the playoffs, even though, they struggled to get there. But I like Tampa Bay in this game, even though Jalen Hurts is leading them. They're pretty good. They're scrappy, but I don't see them going very far. I think the Buccaneers win this game pretty easily and advance. Then you got a matchup that I will be interested in, kind of a little bit dear to my heart, even though I don't like Cowboy fans. It is the Cowboys at home against the San Francisco 49ers at 3:30. Rest in peace to my pops, who is a big-time 49ers fan. All of y'all know, as a boy, I used to be a Cowboys fan. This is a game that I think an upset could happen. I could see San Francisco going into Jerry World and winning. I think the Cowboys will win and advance, but I could see San Francisco doing it. But I think the boys have too much firepower, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And then finally, on Monday night, Arizona at the LA Rams. First time ever we have a Monday night postseason game. First time ever. Matt Stafford could cost the Rams this game. I could see Arizona winning this game too. But I'm going with LA. I think LA is just a better team. They're at home. I like their chances against the Cardinals. They beat them at home earlier. So I could see this happening where the Rams get the win. So NFC, I'm picking Rams, Buccaneers, Cowboys. So I think it'll be Green Bay going up against the Rams. And I think it'll be Tampa Bay and Dallas going at it in the divisional round. Now, the reason I haven't made any predictions in the AFC is because I want to go into this question. There are 3 possible opponents that the Titans will play in the divisional round. And I'm kicking the Steelers out because I just don't think the Steelers are going to win. It is going to be the Raiders, the Bengals, or the Patriots. The Bills are not a possibility because if they win, they most likely will go to Kansas City. The only way we would get Buffalo as the lowest seed remaining because they're the 3 seed. I don't think you're going to get Buffalo at all because they'll end up being the highest seed remaining. So they would get either, the Bengals or the Raiders in that instance. If the Steelers win, they would do us a huge favor. They will come to Nissan Stadium. We will make that Big Ben's last game. They knock out Kansas City, and that makes the road to the Super Bowl just so much easier for us. But here's the question. Who is the team you want the Titans to face in the divisional round, and who is the team you would not want the Titans to face? My prediction is I think the Bengals will beat the Raiders in Cincinnati, although I have heard some Raider fans talking trash saying that they're going to win and they're going to be coming to us. Bills and Patriots, I got the Patriots upsetting the Bills. I think the Patriots beat the Bills, and then I think they come to Nissan Stadium and we'll beat the Patriots. And I would rather leave that matchup, Bengals and Kansas City, let them 2 teams just run amok. And then we get the team left as they might be tired. Titans Rossi, what's up with you? Welcome in. And we're going to get to some comments. So, who would be the best matchup for the Titans in the divisional round? Who would be the worst matchup? Bengals, Raiders, Patriots. Titan Rob, what's up? He says he has the Raiders in an upset. That could be interesting. Now, if the Raiders and the Patriots win, then the Raiders would go to Kansas City because they would be the highest seed left. They would go to Kansas City, and we would get the Patriots. Now, crazies is kept if Cincinnati and Buffalo and New England and Kansas City fall, because crazier things have happened. Could you imagine that the Raiders get a home game in the divisional round? Because they would be the highest seed. They would be playing the Patriots in Vegas, and the Steelers would come to Tennessee. That's if the impossible happens, which I know is not going to happen. So Titan Rob has the Raiders in an upset. Crosio says Patriots and Bills is going to be just as cold as the Monday night game last month. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting ball game. Paulie D said, I think we play either the Bengals or the Pats. Patriots upset the Bills. I don't see the Steelers beating the Chiefs, but boy, that would be something. I don't see it either. I definitely don't see the Steelers upsetting the Chiefs. It's not going to happen. That's fool's gold. My boy J Max said, I'm just happy the Eagles made it. He said he's just happy the Eagles made it. Ms. Bim says, I hope we don't play Kansas City again. All roads probably lead to us playing Kansas City in the AFC Championship. The Chiefs are blowing the Steelers out of the water. I agree. Rooting for the underdogs wild card weekend. Orla Struck, he says, Bengals, Patriots, Bucks, Cowboys, Chiefs, Cardinals. So he has the Patriots coming to us, Bengals and Chiefs. James says, give me the Bucks. Picking Bucks over Eagles. Crosdale 49ers, Cowboys, also on Nickelodeon. I did see that. Jameson says 49ers pulling the upset. Titan Rob says winner. Raiders, Bills, Steelers. He's got the Steelers upsetting the Chiefs. Buccaneers, Cowboys, and he has the Cardinals upsetting the Rams. Again, 49ers and Cardinals, I could see some upsets. I could. I don't think the Raiders beat the Bengals. I think they're going to be coming in too emotional. They got to go west to east coast. And the last time they played each other, Bengals won. It is possible that the Steelers do to the Chiefs what the Titans did to them. Very interesting. It could. I just don't see it happening. Jameson says, just don't trust the Cardinals because I can see Matt Stafford blowing the game for the Rams. Yeah, Matt Stafford, one of the league leaders in interceptions. I can see it. Ms. Smith said, I want Kansas City out, Tampa Bay out, Vegas out. She just want a bunch of teams out. Steve said, I got New England as who I think Tennessee should face in a divisional round. Rocky said, I'll be rooting for Patriots, Steelers, and Raiders. Let's see. Best matchup, Raiders. Worst matchup, Patriots. I'm going to say best matchup, Patriots. Worst matchup, Bengals. I don't want to see the Bengals into the AFC Championship. And then I think we take our chances because I think the moment might get too big, not necessarily for Joe Burrow, but for Zach Taylor. He doesn't have any experience. Joe Burrow does have experience in big games. Zach Taylor, as the head coach, does not. That could be where the problem is. Because you got Bisaccia and Derek Carr. Raiders have never been in a playoff game under Derek Carr or in this situation. Zach Taylor has never been in a playoff game. Burrow's never been in a playoff game. Mac Jones has never been in a playoff game. So that's something that could be interesting. Al Pierce says, payback time for the Patriots. Titan Ross says, bring on the Patriots. We'll stay away from the Raiders. Defense is legit. Raiders do have a nice defense. But I think we could take the Raiders because they're going to be coming in on such an emotional high. This game against the Bengals, we'll see. Maybe it drains them because it's like they're going to have to go west to east. Then they got to come back out west, prepare for us, come back east to play us. So, I can see that. Jameson says, want to face the Raiders, best matchup. I would like to shut some Raider fans up, honestly. I could definitely see that. So I'm seeing a lot. Vrabel is a factor. He knows how to get the best out of his team, especially against big-time opponents. And Vrabel is undefeated coming out of byes. Best scenario is Raiders for Philomatic. Worst, Bengals, because I feel their offense will be a force. Our offense will force our offense to abandon the run. Plus, our pass rush don't get to Burrow. It's going to be a long day. Best thing about the Bengals, we got to keep that defense on the field, and we can do that. Paulie D says, I'm with you. I think we destroy the Patriots. I think we could beat the Patriots down. Mark Jones says, Titans aren't afraid of anyone. AFC comes through Nashville. We will hold down the fort all the way. And I think in their minds, they're not afraid of anybody. And I like that. I don't think they are afraid of anybody. But again, I think the best matchup for us is the Patriots. Worst matchup, at least in the divisional round, is the Bengals. To me, I wouldn't mind playing them in the AFC Championship if they go and take care of Kansas City, because I think that moment will get too big for them. And, I think it'll get too big for Zach Taylor. And I just think we could get to Burrow. The fans will be just feeding off of that. And, hostile environment. I think it's going to be a hostile environment for whoever comes in. Now, with the Bengals, I think I'm with Diego. I think Fulton can lock down Chase because they know each other. And I think our pass rush could get to Burrow. And I just don't think they have a good defense, honestly. So that's just what I think on some of those games. But last but not least, before we get out of here, because I know I've talked your heads off, again, thank y'all for tuning into this show tonight. But I got to give a blue bombshell, and I got to show some love to the local teams right here in the state of Tennessee. First off, I got to start with my alma mater, the Memphis Tigers, the basketball team has won 4 out of their last 5. They got a big win against, they beat Alabama, who was ranked at the time, and they beat a very good Cincinnati team at home as well. They've won 4 out of their last 5, and they have Central Florida, I believe, tonight. And so I am hoping that that Memphis takes care of business against Cincinnati, against Central Florida, and gets us another win and make it 5 out of 6. And then, of course, us winning 3 in a row, number 1 in the AFC. And the Predators, hockey, Predators, 5 in a row. They're number 1 in their Central Division. And I believe they're like number 2 in the West overall. Predators are rolling right now. I hate I can't watch a lot of hockey. I plan to change that when I can. I definitely am interested in the Predators. I tend to watch some hockey when I was up in Nashville living there. And I like the Predators. I enjoy watching Predator hockey. And then last but not least, I got to give a shout out to the team right here in Memphis, the Memphis Grizzlies. They have won 10 in a row. They're 3rd in the Western Conference right now. Ja is playing out of his mind. Should be in the running for MVP. I was at the game last night where they did beat the Golden State Warriors 116-108. I believe Ja had 29 points, 8 assists in that game. Had some MVP chance for him. And, this Grizzly team is hot. They are on a roll. All of these teams here in the state of Tennessee are on a roll. Again, 1st in the Southwest Division, 3rd in the West. Predators 1st in the Central Division. Titans number 1 seed in the AFC. Tigers have won 4 of the last 5. So shout out to all the teams in the state of Tennessee. Somebody saying the Grizzlies are 4th. Let me see. I might be wrong. I thought they moved up to 3rd in the West. Let me see. Okay, my bad. They are 3rd. They're 4th. They're a game behind Utah. Okay, I thought they moved up to 3rd. But I guess Utah won. So, but hey, we beat Golden State, who at the time was number 1 in the West. They're 2. But, 4th in the West, pretty good. Pretty good. So I'm loving what the all these teams are doing. Ms. Bim says all she wants is the Titan to win a Super Bowl. That's her birthday wish. She is so ready. To be honest, whoever we face is going to bow down to the king. I know that's right. And so people were talking about it on the radio. Introduce the offense coming out. Introduce the offense. And then last but not least, welcome back the king. And they should do it either on primetime Saturday night or primetime on Sunday. Bring back the king. That would be awesome, especially with the lights. That would be great. Rashid said, what up, TNT? I see us winning the Super Bowl regardless of who we play. Tighten up. Super Bowl, let's get it. I like that. Let's see. Philip says, you right, Titans aren't afraid of anybody. I'm afraid of Downing. Never coached in the playoffs. He can be suspect. You can't have slow starts. I agree. Mark Jones says, Morant making a case for MVP. Yes, he is. Josh says, first in the West, 11-1-1 since the start of December. Yeah. Joseph says, Preds won. Yeah, I know. They beat the Avalanche 5-4 in overtime. Can't have 3 and outs to start the game. I agree. Ja is similar to Derrick Henry. He is a beast. Ja is 22 years old. Second youngest team in the NBA. Paulie D says, can't wait to see Henry out there. Gives me chills. AFC have been put on notice. Kings is coming, and he is pissed. Hopefully the Titans can get a Big 12 invite with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. Well, right now they're not going to get an invite yet because I believe they've invited like other teams ahead of us, which I don't like. Again, Miss Mims, the most optimistic Titans fan I know. Her glass is full. She ain't just looking at it half full. She's looking at it full, overflowing. So I will say that. I mean, it'd be nice if they got an invite to a bigger conference, but for some reason, bigger conferences don't want us. And the football team did struggle later this past season. So, that was something. So, everybody, I think I'm going to wrap the show up. Again, thank y'all for helping me get to 1,100 subscribers. Help me get to 1,200. Let's get to 1,500 and eventually get to 2,000 at some point. So, everybody, thank you for helping me. Thank y'all for watching the show. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we're going to sit back. I'm going to sit back and watch some good football. I'm going to sit back and enjoy. That first stiff arm's going to be brutal. You ain't lying about that. And I'm going to sit back and enjoy some football knowing the Titans ain't going to be playing and wait to see who our next opponent is. So, y'all, we going to tighten up because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all, and tighten up.